set up in 2003, and in 2016 the last major redesign was done. As a result of this work, new registers now offers some new functionalities which still have to be implemented in the statistical process, and particularly in statistical surveys. So during this year, we have upgraded the process for extracting the main sample frame for all business surveys. We have also integrated the new table with the results obtained during the profiling work in the register, and we also connect this information with the enterprise group register. An important task was also the education of our internal users about these new functionalities, because we noticed that particular people who are working on other surveys, not inside the business statistical sector, are not very informed about all the functionalities which business registers offers. The major challenges for the next years is the implementation of this new statistical ID in the process and also in the surveys, continuation with the redesign of enterprise group registers, and continuation with the work on profiling. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have South Africa. It's not yet here. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Marita Gous, and I'm working in the Statistical Business Register. We are currently less than what I've reported in terms of number of employees. We are now 60 people, and our register is based on the New Zealand one, which we bought in 1999, but has since been written over in a different programming language. We've got more or less 1.5 million enterprises which are live. And in the past year, of course, our main aim is then to maintain the units that we've got. First of all, we've got a profiling unit, so we do profiling of the large and complex enterprises. Then a further type of maintenance is done through the survey area feedback that we received, and also when we do downloads from our VAT as administrative source, we've developed rules for investigation. So that is another type of maintenance that we do. And then in the business register itself, we've got a quality improvement survey, which is run annually in order to improve the identified challenges. And lastly, all these units that were mentioned through profiling, the different surveys, their classification is then also quality controlled by a separate unit. Some work that we've done in order to improve the quality is that we reviewed the performance measures and quality indicators, and now we've started to implement them. And also plans to implement the reviewed statistical units model only on the system, the SPR itself. We've got for many years the enterprise group, but we had to do some carefully. We should have been very careful on how we link them in the system itself. Now we've got an enterprise group which we are very proud of. And then the updating of the geographical unit with the correct geo-coordinates as we received our information from the administrative sources, namely the tax office. This is a challenge for us to get the correctly classified physical addresses and therefore the geo-coordinates for other uses in the statistical office. So what we will do then in future plans, which is now, since the submission of this is now what we are doing, is to assess the geo-coordinates received from the administrative source, from the taxman, and then to work with our own geographical unit in the statistical office to get the correct provincial and municipality names for these units, as this will then also improve information for subnational frames for economic statistics. And then something maybe not as relevant, but we are experiencing tough economic conditions down in South Africa. And one of the things that we've tried is to reduce operational costs. Since we were a very printed-based environment, we've developed something to reduce the printing, since that is our biggest operational cost in the environment of the business register. And we've started to implement that, and you can see the cost savings already. Main challenges is basically the geo-coordinates from the administrative source, which we will then be working on. Implementation of ISIC 4, as it's still an unfunded priority in our organization, but we do have plans around that to see if we can't do that anyway. And then the implementation of business rules, which we've developed to increase the coverage of the VAT and income tax businesses as received from the administrative source via the tax authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sweden.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Rickard Nilsson, and I'm here together with my colleague Kajsa Bergman from Statistics Sweden. Statistics Sweden, the business register was established in 1975. The last time we had a main re-engineering was about 20 years ago, but we're going up, and next year we're actually launching the new database, which has been almost 10 years in the making. And this will enable us to shift focus from just doing register maintenance on the administrative data to focus more on enterprise units and cows. So let's see here. And of course, for us also, we are working very much with profiling. We have had the large case unit has been sort of reshaped to work very much with the manual profiling and intensive profiling. And we are currently also working on a method for doing automatic profiling on the other enterprise units. And Kajsa will talk a bit more about that on Wednesday. And as I said, we're also part of an EU grant for profiling and working very hard to be compliant with the regulation. So, and also we are working on completing the EGR in various forms, and hopefully it will become much more finished over the coming years. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And now Switzerland. I'm doing that, so it's easy. So we last year or this year we didn't just work on organizing the round table. It was also a very hard task, but we had very huge work. After 3 years developing, we will change all infrastructure of our IT system. So new database, new system, new clients. So if you have enough time, we can see it on our labo at the entrance of our main building, where there is a team that they are developing, but we will see this afternoon. So at the end of the year, there will be a kind of big bang. We will drop the old system and change the night with the new system. So hopefully everything is working. We don't know. So that was a very, very important tough, and especially as already Andrew last year discussed or already told, there is a main change in how to deal with this system changing, because our IT department, they are now asking about more information in we can say in how to provide business requirement, how to follow the system and testing and so it's a very we can say professional way to do that. It's not our duty, we can say. We are statisticians, but we are most evolving now in IT project. So future plan for us, it's we are working also in another project with this definition of enterprise, and especially with the large enterprise. So we also there working with all department, national account, SBS, and so trying to find out a way to collect the data in a once way. There is this only once principle story, and it's a very hard task, because to reach a kind of consensus between all these colleagues is not very easy, but it's something that is going in a good way. What can I say? Our main challenge is, maybe we will see to this afternoon with the presentation of Irina, is this problem of having somebody making a kind of director of the orchestra, so this chain manager, because you need somebody that it's not having any we can say casket, we can say you need to have somebody that organize managing the people, because there is always difficulty between the department, and this chain management system could be a solution also to provide a kind of energy in this matter. And a second challenge will be to introduce in our IT system business intelligence, because we are thinking that there is something that could be used there to enrich the data, and to find out a way not to invest money in people, on resources, but to invest money in data, and to get more data without having more stuff. It's always the same solution. So that's what our main challenges. So we carry on now with the Netherlands. I don't know why you are the Netherlands and not Netherlands, but you are the Netherlands. So I don't know.
So I was still waiting that you call out my name. So I try to make it easy.
Excuse me. Hello. Oman is missing. I mean, after South Africa, there should be Spain, and then Sultanate of Oman, and then Sweden, and then I think you missed one.
We will do that. I will do that afterward, because I have a list that following. It's sometimes it's not a very okay. Thank you.
Shall I continue?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'll make it easy on me. Our business register plays a central role in our statistical system, especially the business statistics. It is established in 1974 and developing ever since until now. Let me point out three of our latest developments. One of them is intensifying the collaboration with the central bank. Now, our friend Barry will tell you all about it in just a minute. Another challenge and development is the data lake concept. Now, tomorrow, Irene Salamink will tell you all about it. And the last and not least challenge, development, what we did was the collaboration, intensifying the collaboration with the EGR products. I will do a paper, or I did a paper and will present it for myself. So these are the three developments. For the rest of the questions, you can ask also our new director, of course, because we brought him. And last but not least, the main challenge and what we are trying to do is looking for new data sources, also big data sources, in order to maintain the business register, and everything is allowed in this field of play. So this is also a main challenge for the future, just to got some to spare some resources also. So this is it. Thank you.
Thank you, and sorry for Sultanate of Oman. You can carry. Hello.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Abdurrahman Al-Hinai. The National Center for Statistics and Information in Oman is responsible for updating and maintaining the business register. Our SBR established in 2003 and updated in quarterly basis. In Oman, we do have like 4 sources for business register: Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Regional Municipalities, Muscat Municipalities, Suhar Municipality, and Salala Municipality, plus the Ministry of Manpower. By the decree, every establishment requested to register in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the municipalities upon opening and report in closing. Over the year, we were able to standard the classification of activities, and nowadays all the government entities using ISIC 4. In order to use the same method between business register sources, Ministry of Regional Municipalities has developed a new IT system, and this system also will be used by other municipalities like Suhar and Salala municipalities. We define the main activities for the enterprises by using the number of employees rather than the value added. The high rate of establishment birth and death is one of the main challenges that faced our business register. And also linking between the establishment and its geographical location is another issue that faced our SPR. Finally, all the obstacles and issues that stand over our business register are part of eCensus 2020 project, which will be based on administrative rigors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tunisia.
Hello, my name is Atfauni. I'm representing the National Institute of Statistics of Tunisia. I'm in charge of the business surveys and the statistical business register. Our statistical business register was established in 1996. It is created and updated by mainly using 2 sources, which are the tax files and the national security files. So we have a yearly version of the SBR, which is covering all the legal unit. We have also developed the local units business register, but we still work on it to improve mainly the number of employees and the other variables. So from the yearly version of the statistical business register, we are producing statistics, which are part of them are included in the publication, including the main statistics and demography of the businesses. It is also used for the business surveys as data, as the sampling frame, and we are also open to researchers for to provide them access to micro data. The last developments are we try to apply the GSBPM model to the business to describe the business register. We try also to improve the integration of trade statistics to improve the quality of the statistics we are producing. We also collect several information from the surveys to improve the address or other variables. Our 2 main challenges are to improve for the microdata access for other users, especially researchers, and we have to help other partners especially with the codification of with the use of the official classification, because according to the the last investment law, INS is in charge of assisting other administration for the application of the official classifications.
Thank you. And then Turkey.
Hello everyone, I'm Erdem Şahinler from Register Systems Department. Statistical Business Registers of Turkey was established 2005. There are 10 people working in the Business Registers unit since 2005, and we are trying to increase this number. 2017 was an important year for Turkish business registers. With the extending use of administrative data project, we signed some protocols with important institutions like Revenue Administration and Social Security institution. And we take their microdata with web services instead of electronic file transfer. Thanks to these new sources, our business registers started to be updated on a daily basis. In our new system, main activity codes of new businesses are assigned by Turkstat's regional offices in a field work. Despite of enterprises, we have some problems matching local units which coming from different administrative registers. We hope to solve this problem in the near future. Besides, we will focus profiling studies of large and complex units in the following years. We already made a pilot profiling survey on a big enterprise group in Turkey. We also started the project with our national bank. They will use business registers for calculating sectoral balance sheets. And there is another national project about geocodes, and it will be completed by the end of 2020. After that, we will match our business registers with geocodes. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And then United Kingdom.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Allen from the Business Register Department in the United Kingdom. We've had a business register in its current form, the Interdepartmental Business Register, since 1994. It's been obviously continually updated during that period. We are now have a big program going on to redevelop that business register. I think it's its second year now. And as part of that, we've created a legal unit type register first, which was called the Business Index, and that's been put in place. And now we're moving on to building the Statistical Business Register, which is for us is an enormous challenge. And so our last year's plans and our future plans all revolve around the development of the new Statistical Business Register. So we focus in all our effort on that. The main challenges that I've come across is that we are using a completely new technical environment. It's not just for the registers, it's across the entire Office of National Statistics, which is introducing this new IT infrastructure, and that's challenging and difficult to use. And we're also, the second challenge related to that is that the approach we're using is very much a service type approach, so that we won't have one IT system in future, we won't have one register system in future. The register will be built on multiple services which are used by other people as well, common platforms such as the data access platform. So joining all these systems together is our big challenge going forward. And like everybody else, the other challenge is resources, of course. We've got to make sure we can keep our resources to keep the project going. That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And then before closing this session, I would like to know if the international organization, they have something to provide. If you want. If you don't want. Ronan? No? Okay. So I would like to thank you everybody for this session. You were very, very good keeping the time. So we have now half an hour before the launch. So we can introduce the next session before having the launch. And before closing the session, I would like to say that I'm very pleased to see that everybody is really having an intense work at home, and I would like also to say what is important, and it's also what we are doing with Ronald in this expert of group for the next manual, is to share everything, because I think we are all having a lot of work home, but what is maybe good is also to have a connection and sharing what we have in our job, and that would be very, very important for the future. Okay, so with this last word, I ask Arturo to come at the desk and take over for the next session.
Yes, it's a new one. Do you have some slide or?
No. Good.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. In this session number 2, the issue is about the innovation in SBR. We think that is a very interesting and a very important topic, because the National Statistical Office in the world have more limitation in the use of the resources. We have more users' needs, more emerging issues, and it's necessary to improve the production of economic statistics and, of course, improve innovation in the SBR. In this session, we have 4 presentations, 2 from Indonesia, one for Netherlands, other Netherlands, I don't know, and another for United Kingdom. We try to occupy 20 minutes in the presentation, and after immediately 10 minutes more for questions and answers. Maybe I suppose that we after have the breakfast or the lunch and we return to the last session. We begin with Barry Koenen. Sorry for the pronunciation. For the Netherlands, the topic is how statistics Netherlands and the Dutch Central Bank are collaborating to improve the quality and consistency of information in the Dutch economy. Barry, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. My name is Barry Koenen. I work at the Dutch Statistical Office. I work there as a methodologist / process manager for our business register. And we have written this paper. I've written it together with my colleague from the Dutch Central Bank. She is sitting there. I will do the presentation, but if later on any questions are needed which are directed at the bank, she can also do that. We have been working together with the Dutch bank since a long time, and we are intensifying our collaboration ever since. And so the topics to be discussed. So first I will try to explain where are we coming from, what is the problem, why is it a problem. I will try to look at it, how we see the future, which solutions we foresee, from which different perspectives these solutions are coming from. I will give you the conclusions as far as we are at this point, and I will give some points of consideration just to, if there aren't any questions, then we can have a discussion on these points. Okay, we are two different organizations, but we share one problem. The Dutch bank and the CBS, we both have a very important task of making statistics. Together, we create a view which provides the state of play for the Dutch economy. But also for the central bank, they have a different role. They also have a role of supervising the financial institutions and assuring that the financial stability is in place. So that's a very different aspect that we don't have as a CBS. But we do both produce statistics, and also from a macroeconomic level, the bank produces the balance of payments and we produce the national accounts, which are very closely related. Since they are closely related, the figures should be in line with each other. And what we have experienced in the past, that there was sometimes inconsistencies between these numbers, which made it very difficult for our users to assess the different statistics. And as you can see, we at CBS, we use the balance of payments information which we receive from the Dutch Central Bank, and we include that in our national accounts to explain certain parts of our national accounts. What you also see is that small errors, if you look at a few enterprise groups which have a very important role in the economy, if you have a different view of them, they can lead to very big inconsistencies. And this is a problem that needs to be solved. The problems are often detected quite late in the process. When you are already comparing these macroeconomic figures, you have already established your national statistics, and correcting them is going to be a very cost-intensive process. So this was a huge burden for both organizations to solve these problems. And together with the central bank, we try to find ways to prevent these problems or solve them in an earlier phase. One of the things that we were looking at was then, of course, sharing one business register. If you look at this problem of inconsistency, then you try to look at it from where is it coming from. And one of the things that we are using different sources. At the Central Statistical Office, we work very closely together with our Chamber of Commerce and with our tax authority. And we get this information from the tax authority once a month, and from the Chamber of Commerce we get that every day. But at the central bank, they do not have these sources, at least not yet. So it's a very different perspective that we have. So we are building our statistics from a very different starting point. Also, when you look at the methodologies, they are different. Maybe the most vital one is that when we look at units, we look at them from a different perspective. We have the statistical units, the enterprise group, while the bank looks at from an institutional unit, and which is often, if you do not have all the information, is often translated as a legal unit. So that's a very different view on the enterprises if you look at it from that way. The timing aspect, National Accounts has a revision policy of 5 years. The bank is working very topical. Also, these are very different things and make life quite difficult. And as I said, we are sharing information quite late in the process. At least the most vital information is shared quite late. And we are working together and we are talking to each other. But the real sharing of information so that you have one view, it's quite late. And solving these problems is a very expensive task that we have. So at this point, if you look at it, these are very separate systems. So these purple lines, they do tell that we share information also on a low level, but these are very limited sharing of financial institutions, some special purpose entities which are shared on a very low level, but not yet really the sharing of one business register. So what are we going to work to is that we have one business register which will accommodate both statistical processes and both organizations. And also on the level of, on the second level where you make the statistics, also there we are intensifying our work. I believe in 2019 we're going to do a shared questionnaire for the 300 largest enterprise groups that we have. So we'll have one questionnaire coming from the Dutch Bank and the Central Statistical Office going to these organizations. So we will get the same information from them to both organizations. This sharing of one business register is very, it seems like two very easy words, but it's a very large step for the both of the organizations. And when you have something which this business change, you should look at it from a very broad perspective. Many times innovation is looked at from a technical point of view, and some of the other presentations during the session are aimed at this. But we are currently looking at the other aspects of this change. So not just the IT part, but also the conceptual part, the methodology, the organization, the processes, and the people who are doing the work. You cannot have a business change when you look at it just from one of these perspectives. They have to be in line with each other, and they are quite important that they support and that they strengthen each other. So I'll try to look at these 4 different areas, and I will explain them how we are looking at it at this point in time. So we start with, I will first give you a small overview how our business register is organized. We have 1.7 million enterprise groups at this moment in our business register. Of those, among a little bit more than 2,000 groups are being profiled. And this leads also to 1.7 million enterprises. The largest amount of information is in the sector S14, so in the household, the self-employed. But when you look at the financial units, this is from September, we have at this moment, we have 200 groups who are being profiled who have a link with a financial enterprise or who are a financial group. This results in a bit more than 1,000 enterprises. We did, in the last few months, we did an analysis of the complete sector S12, so the financial part of the economy, and how it is in our business register, where we try to assess which of the enterprise groups are vital for sharing our business register, because for us, the financial institutions weren't the highest on the priority list, and for the bank they are. So now we need to work together to find also these organizations which should be profiled. For now, we have seen that approximately 80 enterprise groups should be added to the population of profiling. And by profiling these, we have a very good amount of financial institutions well profiled in our business register, and they are then ready to be used in these statistical processes. So the first still is the information and the technology. That the information part, as I said, we have the enterprise, we have the legal unit, we have the institutional unit. For us at the business register, the institutional unit is a concept that we do not use and we do not really know. So also for our profilers and for our business register people, this is a very different concept. While for the bank and for the national accounts, they are quite clear. These conceptual differences make it very difficult to share one business register, and they face also for the people who are working with it a large challenge. The profiling process, we have been doing it for, I think, 30 years, so we have gained a lot of experience from that. The bank has started since, I think, halfway last year. You cannot expect that they are already within 1 or 2 years at the same point that we are with the profiling. So we try to learn from each other and help them in the profiling process. Also, the treatment of the financial parts in non-financial groups, and also with the parts which are not relevant for the bank, it's important for them to know how to treat them and how to organize them in these profiles. So this is also for them a learning process, because we will use the information that they profile from the financial groups, and we will also use the non-financial part of those groups which have been profiled. Also a bit about the technology. Our colleagues from the bank, they need access to the business register, so they are seen somewhat as a CBS employee, where they can get, at this point, reading rights to at least read the data as they are in the business register. When we share our information, we share information on units, so it has to be secure. We have a very secure line between the Dutch Central Bank and between CBS, so when data is transported, it's always in a confidential way. The different sources that they are using, we do not have access to them from on a structural way, but we have provided a way that the central bank can provide us with their view on certain financial institutions, and we include that in our business register. So we update certain information on legal unit level, NACE classification and sector classification, as they see for the certain financial institutions like banks, insurance companies and pension funds. The information that to be shared, you have to have one structured way of sharing information. So we need templates which are agreed on and which are followed and filled in on the same way, so that we can see so that we have continuity in sharing of data, and also in the same way that we have done it before, so that we it makes it easier to share these types of information. And we are still the IT part, especially the algorithms behind that and the quality behind that. We are still improving that. So also the algorithms for deriving the sector classification, we are from year to year we are improving that. We are now looking at the sector 127, which is the captive financial institutions, if I'm not mistaken. We know that they are not 100% right in the business register yet, but we are looking at it, how to improve that. Yeah, the processes. As I said, we're already using information from the DNB to improve our business register, but also assessing the quality of our business register, because the focus has never been on these financial institutions. And when I do my work as a process manager, I need to look at the developments of the business register from month to month, and I do that from a micro point of view. And I also need information how these financial institutions are developing. So we have improved this macro evaluation tool in the business register, and this now also provides the dynamics from financial institutions which might go to non-financial or which go to government, and all these transitions. And I will be notified if something with large company happens, and I can ask profilers or different statistical departments to have a look at it and to assess the quality and improve when needed. Two processes I will a bit more elaborate on: the shared profiling, at least from the process view as we are doing it, and also a bit on the chain management, because we are developing a new chain between the CBS and DNB, and since it's something with cross organizations, we also need something like a chain management process which supersedes that. I know that Irene will touch this more and more in the afternoon session, but I will quickly talk about that. And this is the process, and what is important is that we work on teams. So we have, I think, 150 financial groups that we are now currently looking at. And from each organization, one profiler is added to a group. So if we are profiling, for example, the Rabobank, one profiler from the Netherlands, from the CBS is connected to that, and one profiler from the Dutch Central Bank. And what happens, of course, our business register is the first starting point. So because we have our administrative sources, they give you the first view of this group. And this group is then, this first view is communicated to the Dutch Central Bank. And they're going to look at it from their way. Are legal units missing? Are legal units there which shouldn't be there? How do they look at the enterprises? And they give us back their view of the statistical units as they think it should be created. And then our profilers start, and they start looking at it, and they try to understand why the Dutch Central Bank has created enterprises in the way that they did it, and can they agree on that, or do they see problems with maybe the non-financial part which is left behind, or maybe we have 4 enterprises which have the same NACE or the same sector classifications. So they try to confront that, and if they see irregularities, they will contact the bank and they will try to solve these problems to get one unified view of the enterprise groups. If we have reached this unified view, then we start discussing this with the enterprise itself, because in the end they have to see themselves in the enterprises that we have created, and they have to provide information on these enterprises. So it's important that they also go along with these statistical units. If all goes well, they agree, and we can finalize that in our business register. If they are not agreeing, then we should find a solution with the 3 of us together. So the central bank, the CBS, and also the enterprise itself. And we have to find a way which works for all the 3 parties. In the end, it will be registered in the business register, and the information will be there. This is a process that we have only just started. We haven't finalized many groups yet, but it's also a very difficult task, which takes a lot of time. And yeah, I'm very confident that we will get there, but it takes a lot of time. The chain management process. I am part of the chain management group within the economic division of CBS, and we are now also trying to establish it together with the Dutch Central Bank. And there are a few things which are very important in this chain management process. And maybe the most important thing is that you're going to do it together. So you have your chain partners, and what is really vital is that all these partners are equal. It is not possible that one of these chain partners says, this is what I want it to be, and all the other people or all the other partners should follow. You do this together, you have your views, your visions, your strategy as a chain, and this is something that you try to obtain and try to achieve. So also when you have problems within the chain and you try to solve them, you solve them from a chain perspective. And it is possible that sometimes the same chain partner is doing the work, but still as a whole it should benefit. So it's try to understand where the other partners are coming from, what are their needs, what are their limitations, why do they want certain things, and also at some point you try to assess if you are changing something within your own process, will it affect your chain partners? So if we from a business register now want to change something from in our IT system, then we know it might affect also the Dutch Central Bank. So this is something that you inform them, you will try to, and you agree on a timeline that you will have these changes in your process, so that the other partners can already organize their own changes that they have to take in order to achieve this. Yeah, the organization, since you are working with different organizations, the confidentiality is also, of course, is a very important thing. So you need to arrange things that the data is shared in a confidential way. The access rights to the business register. I know we are starting with it, but there are still a very few people working at the central bank who have access. We are not really flexible of giving access to external parties to our business register, but it is a vital part for succeeding in this shared profiling. At the Dutch Central Bank, the people who are working there, they are domain experts, so they are experts in pensions, they are experts in insurance, but a lot of these enterprise groups, they are not organized in this way. So they have one enterprise group and they have different activities within one group. So since we are working with a team of 2 players, they should be organized in that way that one person is responsible for from the Dutch Central Bank, who has then the knowledge of these different domains. We are sharing meetings where we share experiences and where we try to discuss the problems that we are having and sharing these best practices. Yeah, also the people. A lot of knowledge is within the heads of the people, and it's very difficult of when I say this is the way that that I do my process for other people to understand where it's coming from. So you really need to visit each other. You need to learn new skills, these financial, statistical, and the profiling skills. Speaking to people from an enterprise group, you could speak to a director or you could speak to an accountant. These are very different persons, but it is important that you are able to assess where they are coming from. Okay, my conclusions. It seems like a very easy goal, sharing one business register. It's nothing difficult on understanding that. But as we have experienced it, because we have started talking to the Dutch Central Bank maybe 6 or 8 years ago, maybe even longer, of having this shared business register. And back then, we realized that we were not there yet. The CBS was not there yet, and also the Dutch bank was not really there yet. So it's a very long way to go, and we take small steps, and we have large expectations, but we have small victories, and but we continue, and we do see the added benefit of the things that we are doing. And a very important part is transparency. You really need to show why you are doing things, how you are doing things, so that other people understand from the other organization where this is coming from, and that they will not see this as a problem, but see this as, I know this will happen in the future then. Maybe one of the most important challenges that we have is commitment from the management, because this is something new that we are doing, and for us it's gaining experience and doing a little bit of entrepreneurship, and we need our directors and managers to support us in that. It's as I was saying, we have large expectations, but we have small victories. That's not always what our management wants. They want to take big steps, but I think the way that we are continuing now is the way to go. And of course, the more dependencies, we are linking each other more and more together. So for me, and maybe the second part is sharing one business register is the way to go for the future, because we at CBS do not have these really financial knowledge. This is something that the bank has, and we have different knowledges, and I think that in the future we should really go for one business register.
Thank you, Barry. Questions, please? Germany?
Thank you very much. As always, the Netherlands are ahead. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very inspiring talk about many aspects which touch my personal work as well. Boring question from Germany. How is your legal situation? So if you are in touch with the central bank and have the commitment of the management and are willing to do it, do you have restraints from the legal point of view to share data?
Yeah, we do, and there are many talks going on, because especially also that we are using administrative registers, so we are using the data from the Chamber of Commerce and the data of the tax authority. And when we share our business register, this information is directly also shared with the Dutch Central Bank. And maybe my colleagues can respond on this a bit, but we are in very intense talks with the Chamber of Commerce of also sharing their data, and I don't know. Yeah.
Ronald, please.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes, I'm from the Central Bank. I'm Margaret van Brummelen. And what we do in this sharing is actually try to leave everything as much as possible with the Statistics Netherlands and only exchange limited information to the central bank. Because in our own right we have to have the information on, say, like legal units and stuff like that. So that's one thing. So don't pull over all the data to the central bank, limit that. But then again, there's we do have like laws where we have the task both to jointly produce like balance of payments and national accounts. So we have to work together on that. So there are legal articles that support that, but then still we have to be careful what we exchange, how much we exchange. And we try to be quite lean in exchanging data.
Thank you. Ronald, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for indeed a very inspiring presentation. Yeah, the topic is still on sharing. That is, I guess, the main issue here. So my question was if you have a very specific protocol actually on how you can work. So you have somebody from the central bank joining with some kind of an oath at Statistics Netherlands, I guess. And is this for a certain period of time? Are there really worked out agreements? Then also if the person from the central bank, what can he or she share with her colleagues and these kinds of things? So if there is a protocol in a bit of a broader perspective, this is just within the Dutch system. It's like data sharing is on the forefront also between European countries and things like that, especially on the enterprise groups. If any of this is also in relation to that or could be used for it, that would be interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't have a real protocol yet because we are just starting, and so it's also not defined yet at how long they are working together. So we are still in the project phase, and we are gaining experiences how this works, and also when the Dutch Central Bank, we're also figuring out when we should get into contact with an enterprise group. Who should it be? Should it be the Dutch bank? Should it be together? When we write a letter that we inform them that they are part of a questionnaire, then we also always tell them, we see you organized in these statistical units, and you should report in this way. Should we send out a joint letter from CBS and DNB? When we visit them, is it just the Dutch Central Bank who visits, or is it something to? Because our profilers normally don't visit the enterprise groups. They are only for the largest 300, and that's a different perspective. So. Sadly, I don't have an answer for you, but and Margreet will.
I will complement a bit. Yes, the protocols for profiling are not finished yet, so we have to grow on that. But above that, we have a sort of agreement between Statistics Netherlands and DNB at a higher level about sharing information every year. This is renewed because of the new exchanges or statistical cooperation that we have. So that's on a higher level. There's this mutual agreement which is signed by both directors. Yes.
Thank you. Fabio?
Just a question beside. There was last year this Tallinn Declaration about the only one's principle. It is this action connected to this high-level decision in between ministry. I mean, how to work together. I mean.
I don't know. Irene, can you help me? Because I don't know this declaration that Fabio is talking about.
You mean the declaration of working together between the
that there was in Tallinn last year, the once only principle. All big ministry decided that there should be an e-government process now in order to avoid the